Hello and welcome to Letting Go in 2019. I'm reading from the book The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie, copyright 1990, and it is April 7th. Those old-time feelings. I still have bad days, but that's okay. I used to have bad years. That was written by Anonymous. Sometimes the old feelings creep back in. We may feel fearful, ashamed, and hopeless. We may feel not good enough, unlovable, victimized, helpless, and resentful about it all. This is codependency, a condition some describe as soul sickness. Many of us felt this way when we began recovery. Sometimes we slip back into these feelings after we've begun recovery. Sometimes there's a reason. An event may trigger these reactions, such as ending a relationship, stress, problems on the job, at home, or in friendships. Times of change can trigger these reactions. So can physical illness. Sometimes these feelings return for no reason. Our return to the old feelings doesn't mean we're back to square one in our recovery. They do not mean we failed at recovery. They do not mean we're in for a long, painful session of feeling badly. They just are there. The solution is the same. Practicing the basics. Some of the basics are loving and trusting ourselves, detachment, dealing with feelings, giving and receiving support in the recovery community, using our affirmations, and having fun. Another basic is working the steps. Often, working the steps is how we become enabled and empowered to practice the other basics, such as detachment and self love. If the old feelings come back, know for certain there is a way out that will work. Today, if I find myself in the dark pit of codependency, I will work a step to help myself climb out. We're talking about steps here, and if you haven't read some of Melody Beattie's other books, or the Language of Letting Go book, the one I'm reading now, or even the Alcoholics Anonymous or Codependence Anonymous step books, then you're missing out. You need to read those books. They're really, really good. I'll try to get a link so that you can get a hold of those books. I'll put it down below as soon as I'm done talking. But talking about slipping back into old habits and old ways of thinking and old ways of perceiving. I think the best example of this I can give you is dieting, because so many of us struggle with dieting or addictions or other situations with food or substances. And my master's degree happens to be in substance abuse counseling, so I know a little bit about addictions and breaking those habits. Um, when we slip up, when we make a mistake, when we overeat one day, or we go back to smoking those cigarettes or whatever, it's not time to beat ourselves up and say, all is lost, I have failed, I'm a failure, I can never do this. What it is time for is reassessing where you're at and realizing that right now where you're at is not where you were before you started. Right now, you're at wherever you're meant to be at. But you don't have to stay there. I think for me, with dieting and losing weight and stuff like that, it's been a struggle at times because goodies come my way. And I like goodies. I love frosting, for one thing. That's probably a huge weakness of mine. If it's that buttercream frosting like supermarkets make, oh my gosh, I'm all over it. I love frosting. In fact, I will skip the cake and just eat the frosting. Unless it's angel food cake, then I will devour the entire angel food cake. Anyways, not really. I wouldn't eat a whole angel food cake, but I'd eat a bunch of chunks of it throughout the day and the week, and it will be gone by the end of a week, I guarantee you. That's why I don't even really bring that stuff in my house very often, unless I know I can afford those calories. The biggest thing for me is being self-accountable. That's why my Fitness Pal or Chronometer or whatever of those calorie counting things that you use are so helpful. And to keep doing that daily as a ritual. I mean, literally, have a time of day or night. It doesn't have to be the same time every single day, but make sure you log in those calories. If it's cigarettes, make sure you're writing down how many less you smoked in a day. And same thing with alcohol or any other addiction. You're just cutting back by a tiny bit each day so that you don't fully notice, oh my gosh, I'm deprived. Because our bodies are brats. They really are. They think that because we go one day without something that we're just going to die, and they make you feel that way. So just take it a little bit at a time and make sure when you make those strides. I know there's somebody on here who's working with a food addiction, and every day that this person goes without this certain food, they let me know. They're accountable to me, not that it's like this mean, I have to have her be accountable, so I'm making sure she tells me. No, she tells me on her own, but I'm sure it's helping her to know that I'm cheering her on. I'm not saying, well, gee, you missed a day and you ate more, bad you. No, if she goofs up and eats something in the day, I'm not going to beat her up. I'm going to say, that's all right, you got tomorrow. Life isn't over. Keep on going forward. Honestly, it's a big lie of the devil or just of fate or life or whatever that if you goof up, that all is lost and you should just give up and quit and you're a failure and you can't do it. That's a bunch of baloney. Don't listen to those voices in your head or the devil or whoever you attribute that to. Know that just because you made a mistake, it's not the end of the world. You have a whole lifetime, however long or short that is, to achieve your goals or at least work on achieving them. And since we said yesterday about enjoying the process on the way there, you have a whole lifetime to enjoy the process and just float along and say, "Ooh, okay, so we ate one less today. That's great. Good for me. Tomorrow I'll eat one and a half less." Literally, you have to set meaningful and reachable goals for yourself. But then as you're reaching those goals, make sure you give yourself a hug, an attaboy, a pat on the back, a reward, usually a non-food reward if you're trying to lose weight, or maybe a healthy food reward. But some sort of thing to say, hey, you're arriving, you're doing it, you're making it, you're going to get there. Eventually, it's okay. You're going to goof up along the way. Everybody does. It happens. So move on. Cheer yourself up however you have to in a non-food or non-substance way. Buy yourself a new journal or some new clothes or some earrings. And don't buy something that, if you're going to buy clothes, don't buy something that just barely fits just because you like the pattern. Find something adorable in your size and just totally rock that thing. Seriously. You have to look at yourself as a beautiful masterpiece because that's who you are. That's who God created you to be. Why not shine like that? Why not stop putting yourself down and just absolutely baby and console and cajole and just nurture yourself and love yourself. You only have one self and nobody else is going to do it for you. So love yourself today, okay? Anyway, that's all I have today on that. I hope this helped somebody out there. Stay tuned for tomorrow's Letting Go in 2019. Be patient with yourself, enjoy the journey, and we'll see you on the next Letting Go. Thanks for watching.